Hi guys, welcome back to my part 2, my second part of my Q&A. This part is going to be Instagram. I'll link below. I probably won't, will I? I'm terrible at that. You can find my other part, one video, which was Twitter, but I'm going to go through them now. I have quite a few, and I'm going to try and run through them. Hopefully we will get them in a decent length video and not something super long, because I do tend to ramble, which is what I'm doing now. So first of all, I don't have Twitter, which is where it all kind of started from, but Carly says, I don't have Twitter, but how do you deal with life's annoying people, let's say? I'm having a bad morning, so any advice would be great. That really all depends on your attitude and how you're feeling that day. If you're having a bad morning, like, you know, people say the power of positive thinking. I've never really felt like that's a real thing until quite recently, when I realised the power of negative thinking. If you're having a bad day, and you're in a bad mood, so many more things happen to you that day that are bad and negative because of the mood that you're in. You're expecting them to happen, and so they do happen. It's the way that you are. It's like you're a magnet for all those terrible things. As soon as you change your attitude and you decide to be happy about things, things start to change. So I would say a positive attitude, because it must be true. If negative thinking breeds negative things happening to you, then positive thoughts must do the opposite. So I would just say, it would depend on your attitude, and you decide to choose how to be in that situation. If someone's annoying you, you decide that they're not annoying you. It's annoying to be told that, and I know it's like one of those things you're like, oh yeah, okay. But it's as easy as that. I know that when I've been in kind of on one, for example, when you get comments on YouTube, if you decide that you just don't care and you just ignore it, it goes away instantly. Whereas if you let it get to you and you start like, then it just perpetuates the cycle, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and it becomes this big thing. So you kind of decide how to deal with it, and if you decide that you don't care, then it kind of just let it roll over you. It's the worst advice to give, I know, but once you actually start putting it to practice, it works. Tattooed Tea Lady says, top 3 tips for a new mom. I would say, number 1, do what you think is best. Everyone will have advice. So my tips, I could be like, oh, do it this way, do it that way. Do what you want to do. Do what you think is right for you. Do what works for you. Just because someone tells you to do it one way, don't feel like if you're doing it another way, you're doing it wrong. Everyone does it differently. Everyone thinks they're doing it right. Everyone thinks the way that they're doing everything is the best way. But everyone does it differently, so it can't be true. Don't feel like you have to do it the way everyone tells you to do it. Don't feel like you have to breastfeed if you don't want to breastfeed. Don't feel like, just don't have that pressure put on you, and don't listen to other people telling you what you have to do. That's my kind of major tip, is trust your instincts and what you feel is right. With that in mind, I don't know if I have any other tips. The only other thing, and I mean, bearing in mind that Tattooed Tea Lady is about to have her baby, and I imagine that you're already there, don't buy tons of stuff. I swear, we bought so much stuff when we had Ella, and then when we had Milo, there were so many things that I was like, oh, we'll get that, and then we never got it. And, you know, a lot of it is stuff that you think that you need because people have, like, preyed on your mind. You think that, for example, a baby monitor. I had a baby monitor with Ella, but we lived in a 3-story house like we do now. And I still feel like it was useful, because I could go out in the garden and have it, because I wouldn't have been able to hear her. But with Milo, if I had all the doors open in the house, I could hear him everywhere, and it wasn't necessary. Everybody slept better because I did not have the baby monitor. That was something I would never, before having him, I was like, I'm definitely getting one. They're really expensive, and I just never got around to it, and we didn't need it. He slept better because he was in his own room. We couldn't hear him. We weren't going in every 5 minutes because we could hear a little bit of noise. They can sometimes wake up and get themselves back off to sleep. You will hear them if they need you to hear them if you leave the doors open. So that's just kind of one thing to take with a pinch of salt. It's not necessarily, especially for a first-time mum, I can't imagine that's something that you're going to want to do. But bizarrely it worked for us. Also, a sound machine worked really well for him, like white noise. If we couldn't settle him, we had a sound machine that did like waves and just general, you know, static noises. That was amazing. You can get apps on your phone for white noise, and it's the most bizarre thing, but he would settle so quickly. He could be really crying. We'd put him in his cot, listen to the white noise, he'd be asleep in like 30 seconds. Weird. Try that. No, I'm sure it can't work for all children, that would be weird, but try it, because it worked really well for us. Shelby says, what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self? And when you were 16, what did you want to be? Aspiration-wise, I covered that slightly in my previous video, but I didn't say this. When I was about 14, when I went up to upper school, like to secondary school, I don't know how old you are when you do that, maybe younger. I wanted to be a fashion designer, that's what I wanted to be. So we sat in this room and everyone, like they asked the question, what does everyone want to be? What's your like aspiration? Like 15 people put their hand up and said fashion designer. I wasn't up for that competition. And so I was like, maybe I'll rethink my goals. I liked the idea. I was really into art, but I'm not good enough. I don't have the patience for pattern making and for to be a seamstress. And you need to be able to do all of that to go to any kind of fashion school. So that all kind of went out the window. That was what I wanted to be. Moving forward from that, I liked the idea of being an artist or a photographer or a journalist, something in kind of a creative field. And weirdly, I found myself here on YouTube, which is kind of like my mum talks about it. She says, like, I found a way to use that, like creativity in myself without having to go to various different schools to learn a trade. And so I suppose I have ended up using that in a way. And the beauty of YouTube, the thing that I love about it so much, is that I could create something and put it out there and you will see it. And I could create anything at all. And so if I am feeling particularly creative, I feel like, I can do that. That's available to me, which is an amazing, amazing thing. So although I haven't kind of reached those aspirations that I had as a teenager, I feel like I kind of have at the same time. My advice to 16-year-old me was it will get better. School doesn't last forever, and once you're out in the real world, people don't act like that anymore. That would be my advice to myself. Just stick it out. Lydia says, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Well, fun fact, Lydia. Lydia is my favourite name. Lydia was the name that I wanted to give. Lydia, I always associate Lydia with purple, and I don't know why. As a child, when I had a child, my child was going to be called Lydia. That was going to be it. Why she's not, I don't know. I love that name. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Absolutely would be, I'm going to say America. I would want to say New York. My dream is I don't want to live necessarily in New York. I would love it, but my dream is to have so much money that I could go whenever I want and potentially have like an apartment in the various places that I want to go. But I kind of always want to live where I am now. I live in the north of England, and a lot of people will ask me quite frequently, oh, will you move down to London and stuff? But I really like the lifestyle up here. It's different. Everyone's a little bit more chill, and I like living here. So I think I probably would just like to be in a position where I could travel as much as I wanted. Name 5 budget products you wish will never be discontinued. This is really difficult. I actually just filmed this makeup look as a get ready with me. It's just got super dark lighting right now. Winter is not great for YouTubers. 5 budget products you wish would never be discontinued is really, really tough, but I know that one of them is the Maybelline tattoo, what is it called? Colour tattoo. I love them, all of them. I just hope that product is not discontinued. I also I want to say I really like the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara, because I do. I used to really like their 1x1 and that went away, but I feel like it came back. I don't know. But there are other mascaras out there that I do like. At the moment I would say that, but next year I might have a new favourite mascara, so I don't know. What's in your bag? I will do another video on that. Someone at work read these through, because obviously they follow me on Instagram. They were like, what a strange question. She thought it was like a really nosy question until I explained to her, no, that's a thing. We do that. It's weird, I know, but we do what's in my bag. What is your best liquid liner? The Balm Schwing is my favourite liquid liner. I also really like the Rimmel Glam Eyes, I think it's called, Glam something. Yasmin, what is the most overhyped beauty brand and what is the most underrated? I don't know about overhyped beauty brand. Because it's difficult. I've never tried like loads of products for more. Sometimes I'll try something and I'm like, oh, I don't think that's all that great. Do you know what? I kind of feel like Benefit might be the most overhyped beauty brand. There's a lot of products that I like from Benefit, but a lot of products that I don't, and it's expensive for what it is. I like some of the stuff, I don't like some of the stuff, but people go absolutely crazy, especially this time of year, for Benefit, and I don't know if it is. They've done a really, really good job marketing Benefit, because I don't know if it's all that. I think that probably would be the brand I would say. Underrated brand? I don't know. because I feel like all the brands that I really, really like, lots of people know about them. Maybe like Collection 2000, or Collection as it's called now, or like 17, but maybe that's not underhyped at all. Sophie, what's the best value vlogging or YouTube camera you've found? Do you know, any camera that shoots in HD preferably has autofocus, because if you want to vlog as well, then that's necessary, and has a flip-up screen will be great. I know that one of my favourite YouTubers, Makeup by Tiffany D, shot on a point and shoot, real small, I think it was a Sony camera, for years and years and years. In recent years, she's got like a really professional setup, but for so long she filmed on this little camera. It's not necessary. For years I filmed on my phone. People would have had no idea at all. It just needs to be decent quality. The light, preferably natural light. You know, it's not rocket science. It sounds like it's rocket science because we all talk about lighting and all this stuff. It's not really great right now, but I'm sitting in front of a camera practically in a dark room and filming this video. I love my Canon DSLR. It is the EOS 600D. I can see it on the side of it right now. That is my favorite camera for sitting down and talking to you these kind of videos, but it's not a great vlogging camera because there's no autofocus and it's really heavy. So I would just say get a normal point and shoot and use it for everything. What's your favorite Christmas treat or drink? I have just discovered, well, not discovered, I had it a few years ago, but I've just discovered I can still get it, the Costa salted caramel latte with cream on top. Amazing. Completely amazing. What's your biggest splurge that you now regret? I saw this question the other day, Laura, and I just don't know what that is. I was trying to think, like, what have I bought that I just... Because the only things that I kind of regretted buying, I bought from eBay secondhand, so they weren't a massive splurge. I can't think if there was anything that was like, I really didn't need that, I really don't like it. I don't know. I kind of go between, like I bought some Christian Louboutin shoes beginning of this year, and I've kind of flip-flopped between those. I go from like, oh, they were really expensive, I don't know if it was worth it, but then I have used them a lot, but then they're suede and they're already starting to look knackered. I need to get something to clean them with, but I don't know, it might be designer shoes. That being said, I might buy another pair. I don't want to say, never say never. Sophie asks, can you see yourself still being a YouTuber in 10 years time? I kind of can. I've gone back and forth over this question as well, but I feel like there will be a place for YouTube forever. But YouTube is evolving. 5 years ago, YouTube was totally different. 5 years ago, it was very to the point videos. Now people are sitting and chatting, and I feel like vlogs and this kind of video, just like updates on people's lives and things, will always be there. Maybe the beauty community won't, maybe it'll be completely different, but I feel like whatever YouTube is, in 10 years, I'll be doing something with it. How do you cope with stress and pressure? You always seem so level and take things in your stride. I don't always. I think it takes me a really long time to build up to like, and when I do, I go absolutely mad. I'm like, I will just blow my lid and I need to be away from everybody. But I'm not someone that, I've not got like a really short fuse. I've got a super long fuse and then I explode. So pressure, it takes a really long time to build up. When we were moving house, I was totally fine. I was really positive and happy all the time. And Lee was like, oh my God, it's all this, there's so much stuff. We're totally different in that he's got a really short fuse. And so he's like constantly like, stress. And one day I just like burst into tears and I went to sleep. I was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like just crying. It was something stupid, something broke, and it wasn't something that I would have cried over in a million years. Something broke and I just cried. And then I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I like woke up the next morning. And that was how that stress manifested itself. It's weird. But I don't know. I obviously don't cope all that well with it, but I try to keep positive in the same way that I said in the beginning. It's the attitude you choose that definitely has an impact. Okay, but 3 more questions. I'm gonna do the quick ones first. Do you prefer your old house or your new one? Really difficult question, but I'm going to say the new one. It's a better layout, everything works better. It's a smaller house, we're missing the space. But I much prefer the layout of this house. This layout works so much better for the family. And I do, I prefer this house. I miss the old house, but I don't miss the various problems we had with the old house. Expensive handbags, is it worth it? That's kind of a personal question and it depends on you. And it depends on the bag. Because, for example, one of my all-time favourite designer handbags is my Neverfull from Louis Vuitton. And really, money-wise, it's not worth it. The materials aren't expensive. It's a canvas, it's a coated canvas bag with leather trim. It's insane. I mean, I got it for a lot less than you can get it now, but it's madness how expensive that is. But at the same time, it is practically indestructible. I have taken that thing everywhere. It's my most worn bag, and it still looks practically brand new. So it swings and roundabouts. It was worth it to me, but really when you consider the materials, it's not worth it at all. So it really depends on where you're asking that question from. But it all depends on the bag as well. Certain bags, the Alexander Wang Rocky that I bought recently, I already have the larger size and I just got the little one. That is fantastic material, really durable, really hard wearing. And the zips and all the metal and stuff, everything is very it's gonna last a long time. But then other things you'll get, like Mulberry handbags, give them 2 years and they look absolutely knackered. And the materials are beautiful, super soft, buttery leather, but then they look haggard a few years down the line. I've had a couple of Mulberry handbags and I bought them secondhand and I've ended up selling them on because they just don't suit me and I don't love them. But it really depends on what you get, what you like, and why you're asking that question, really. But I don't think that you need, it's not necessary, obviously, it's not a necessary thing. Last question, I'm always impressed with your time management, maybe some tips on that. It's kind of funny because, I have to kind of set off for work in like 2 minutes. That's a funny question. Maybe some tips on that. You are a mum, you work, you film and upload regularly, and you're always cleaning and reorganizing, yet you still have time for serious Netflix. I think you're my idol. Well, thanks. But the main thing, while cleaning and tidying, I'm not always cleaning. Lee's the cleaner in my house. I reorganize things. I like to have a big tidy up and get everything out. I messy tidy. I get everything out and then I put everything back different, and I love to reorganize things. But Lee is the one that does like the serious cleaning in my house, like the hoovering and the mopping the floors and the cleaning the bathrooms and all that stuff. I don't do that. A lot of people have asked over the years about time management, and the main reason I've had time to do this is because my husband's so supportive and because he does a lot. He does a lot with the kids, he does a lot around the house. We really split it. He does a lot more cleaning and stuff, and I do a lot with the kids and I do a lot of cooking and things, but it's very much a partnership. And so it's easier now that I've got a little bit of time in the day. I mean, I really do take all the bits of time I can. It's very, very rare for me to just be kind of sitting around and watching TV. While I'm editing or while I'm blogging, I'm watching Netflix. While I'm cleaning or tidying or reorganizing, I'm watching Netflix. And in the daytime when I can't really do anything, like for example, I can't like film, blog and do all that stuff because I've got Milo, we'll be playing with toys, but I'm also watching Netflix. So Netflix fits in around my life. But the rest of it is kind of time management, but it's more just taking every opportunity that I can. So I've spoken to friends about it and they've gone, oh, but I can't do that because when I get in, I sit and watch this. I'm like, well, that's totally fine. But in that time, I would have filmed a video. So it is time management to a degree, but it's also prioritizing what you want to do. And if you don't want to sit and, if you want to sit and watch TV, if you want to sit and do whatever it is, read a book, do whatever it is that you want to do, then you're not using that time in the same way that I am. And neither is wrong, neither is right, but that's why I manage to get up so much as I do, because I don't, like when Milo goes to school, I don't sit down and watch TV. I'll set everything up before he goes to school, and then as soon as I come back, I've got like 2.5 hours. I sit down, film like 4 videos, and then I go back out and get him. That's how I do it. So it's not like magic, I just use all the time that I've got. And now, like I say, I've got some more time in the week. I don't have to film and things on weekends. It's great. I am still using a lot of my evenings to edit because I've been making more videos recently, and that might have to reduce. In the new year, I might bring it back down to 2 videos a week because I kind of forgot how much editing it was to have to film and upload 3 videos a week. But I don't know. It's not like special. I'm not special. I do a lot of it all the time, and I don't have a lot of other hobbies. I don't do a lot of anything else really. But I do get that question a lot. I don't prioritize other hobbies. I just prioritize like YouTube and blogging, which is probably not great, but that's what I do. So that is it for my Q&As. If you want to see more of these, please leave me some comments below. And if you've got any other questions, then I might do a third one, like a YouTube Q&A. But I really enjoy watching these and I really enjoy filming them. It's really interesting to see what you guys want to know about me. And I find it interesting to see how other people answer these questions. I'm really bunged up and I've got a cold right now, which is why I sound like, ugh. But I have to go to work now. I did use this teeny little bit of time on a Friday morning to film some videos, but now I have to get off to work. So I will see you guys in my next one.